fast. Oh, it's funny. I'm not sure how much that.
I think they just caught the tail of it. It's all good.
Yeah. All right. So I'm Adrian Park. With me today, our founder Jay Carter, and this is what do we call this? Contractors Corner? Is that what we call this?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Contractors Corner. Welcome to Contractors Corner on Friday. Okay, so I I wanted to see if maybe so just real quick, real quick. I'm just gonna just everyone stay with me. So Jay doesn't actually know what I'm gonna say. He doesn't know what I'm gonna say. And this is true. This isn't like this isn't a game. I'm not bullshitting because we had a conversation just a few minutes ago before we went live. Usually we kind of talk through like, what we want to get through today and the communicate. We did that, but I didn't really get into exactly what we're going to talk about. So, or what I'm going to say. So he has no idea. Okay. So with that said, I thought, Jay, that first I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
I saw this literally like last night, and I wanted to see what your answer was going to be. So I saw one of Gary Vaynerchuk's like the guy that does all of his like basically spends all of his money online, on ads. I can't
Hmm.
remember his name is, but really sharp guy. So he's on TikTok, and he's like he was in I don't know if it was a call or a mini conference or something with Google. And he said they gave a stat that like blew his mind. And then he said what it was. And so I'm going to ask you. So he said, so the stat was what percent? So I'm going to put it into the question. What percent of all searches in a given day are new to Google?
0.
15%
Really?
every day. Yes. So
Okay.
50, I guess that's what I was.
Well,
That was my answer too. Like
I guess
how
I'm
could
not
there
surprised. I
possibly
mean,
be?
yeah,
I was the same thing. Like there's can't be any. So 15% of searches daily are something that the said that
the algorithm hasn't
after
heard.
20 years, yeah, that it hasn't heard or seen or what yet. So I thought that
Wow.
was really interesting. And so can you let me share my screen?
Sure.
So
That is very interesting. I kind of wonder what it does. Clearly, I've never hit this. Like, does it just say the end of the road? We'll get back to you. Like, what does it do? Just give you something else that not has nothing to do with it. You beat us. We'll see you later. just, just a leprechaun, pot
Oh,
of gold.
jeez. That's funny. Maybe it's that's what the get lucky thing is about.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually
Oh,
that's
I
not
know
it.
this.
But
I use this all the
okay.
time.
Yeah, so I wanted for you and I to pretend that it's 2 years ago because Jay and I Jay was my coach, my business coach. And we did a lot of really cool shit together. And so I wanted to pretend for a few minutes that it's 2021 or 22, and I come to you and go, "Hey, I found this thing," which is exactly what I mean. I found this a couple years ago, 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and so what this is, what I'm sharing here is this website called answerthepublic.com. And so what you can do for those of you who haven't seen this before, and I'm guessing there's a few, is you can put in just any search, right? Like I put in brick repair because I used to run a mason restoration business, and it'll show you what people are actually putting into the Google bar. And then it'll show you like the darker shades are the stuff that's like that entered a lot, and then as it gets lighter, it's the opposite. So like I'm gonna see if I can I yeah, there we go. So like here's and it goes by like who, why, et cetera, what, which. So so I put in just brick repair, and so the biggest one is for chimneys, which is not a surprise. I mean, we got gazillions of calls on chimneys, how to repair a brick that is flaking, what else? How to repair brick steps, which sucks. I got out of that business. When to repair mortar joints. And so I'm going to again go back in time myself because I did not know. I think this is really interesting, right?
Mhm.
But I had no idea. I mean, there's like so much information here, and I was like, there's got to be a way to use this.
Well,
But
100%.
what, like how repair a loose brick without mortar? I mean, like, so there's all these things.
So
People are asking about the thing that, again, if I'm going back in time, people are asking about the thing that I do, but I don't know what do I do with that? Right.
yeah. So, okay. So like, first of all, let's explain what that particular site is designed for and like why marketers use it and why, contractors should use it. So
Okay.
keywords, all right. So words that are commonly searched that again, we want to be the top of the algorithm. I think everyone understands that concept. All right.
Can
Now
you just explain the top of
yeah. So let's imagine that you are a brick contractor, okay, and you're
okay.
in Pittsburgh. Okay.
Right. Yep.
There's two places you can show up when you Google, brick
Brick
restoration
repair.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's fighting for those spots. Now, the most desirable spot is what we're talking about today is SEO. So you come up organically, meaning it doesn't cost you money. It does, but it doesn't cost you money and you come up in the search. Above that, we all know that it's a sponsored ad. In order to get into the sponsored ads, what marketers do is they find relevant search keywords like what you're seeing there. So they look at the search amount. Now, Google knows this as well, and they sell you keywords, right? So when you take a Google ads campaign, you optimize your campaign on keywords. So again, a very expensive word, for example, would be, brick restoration Pittsburgh. Okay. Probably a $20 per click word. Google knows that because they
Wow.
track how many clicks
Holy
there is
cows.
into that word and they sell that to marketers. All right.
Mm.
So that's in essence, that particular site is for you to optimize. Now, you can use that information two ways. Number one is you can put it into your PPC to optimize, on those
PPC.
keywords, pay per click.
Okay.
Okay. So again, kind of some fundamentals with that in the simplest way as I can explain is it's an auction. Okay. If you have enough money, you can buy that auction. You can buy that keyword. You can buy all of those keywords, as many as you want to buy. All right. Within the algorithm and show up first when anyone searches that. That is in general. Okay. That's a big, that, in any city center that you're going to go into, that's a risky game to just take the most expensive keywords and try and optimize for them.
Right.
What you're trying to do is take combinations of those words and find, less, again, less traffic on them and, ones that actually convert to clients. Okay. But there's another way you can use that information. You can then create content, blogs, website content, places where Google does crawls. Okay. That's what they're called. And this is how we come up organically. This is essentially what the internet is. Okay. Is the internet was built on data, on information. Okay. So what Google does, and this is the complicated part is, and this is how SEO works is, SEO, Google does not want you doing SEO. It's a misconception that they do because
And
think about it. They don't
so
want
SEO,
people. Yeah. So SEO is a search engine optimization. Okay. So they do not want you coming up on the front page for free. All right. So
right.
they make
want you
it
to
very
pay.
difficult and they
Right.
give you a lot of steps to go through. Now, recognize this. People still come up there. All right. And there's reasons why. There's there's some hard, like, there's pillars to it in terms of understanding, who comes up and who doesn't. But in general, okay, a brand new company, for example, trying to do SEO is very hard. Two things why.
Right.
Number one is they will not let you just brand new come out the gate and be on the top of the page in 30 days. Anyone that tells you that is lying to your face and is taking your money. Okay. So for everyone out there listening, I want you to listen to me very carefully. SEO is a long-term consistency game to get to that point. Again, you are trading your time or somebody else's time for consistently feeding new information into the algorithm that is useful and practical to anybody that's searching for it. Okay. Long game. All right. I suggest people do it, but do it with a stop loss in mind. Okay. You can also overdo it. All right. You can also do too much. You got to have it look natural. There's a whole bunch of rules to it. There's a whole bunch of nuances to it. And then our PPC, okay, is the quick, I need leads now. You can turn these campaigns around very quickly, but you can also, is the most expensive lead to acquire. Okay. So again, if you look at all of your other marketing campaigns, it's the quickest to turn around. And this is where companies get themselves in a bit of trouble, is they become dependent on these things and they don't work on other areas of their business which could produce leads, right? Easier ones. But we would call this like a main pipeline. Okay. It should only account for 20 or 30% of your lead flow. All right. And then the rest of your marketing should be spread through other channels. In terms of SEO, if it, like in its purest form, will help every other thing that you're doing on the internet to generate leads. Okay. And here's what I mean by that. Top of funnel, and we've talked about this a lot here, but top of funnel is when somebody is neither problem or solution aware and they're searching for you. Okay.
Right.
So having things like blogs and articles and, posts and stuff like that all contribute to your SEO or how relevant Google thinks you are. Okay. So another way to look at it is, let's say you have a blog, let's say you have some backlinks. Backlinks are like, again, that's really important. Yeah.
I don't even know what a backlink is.
All right. So a backlink is when another website gives you, like, has your website on it. Okay. So they're listing your website. So think of like, a good one would be like your local newspaper, right? Will let you have a backlink. All right. When you post things. So, but it goes on their authority, right? So you got to have backlinks to websites that have authority. Right. So for example, YouTube has like level 8 authority. They're like one of the highest authoritative. If you got a backlink from YouTube, okay, that's a significant one. Now they don't allow you, all right, because they don't want to optimize it. That's just too easy, right? But like if you were to get like a shout out, so the best way I can explain it is their votes. Okay, so the way that the internet looks around, they look all over the place and they're like, who's voting for this website? All right, can we trust this website? So if your content, your blogs, everything else are being shared and people are consuming it, that is healthy, like SEO juice. All right. Other things like Google Maps, you know what I mean? Being optimized there. And I'm going to give you guys some suggestions for how you start this process, but it takes time. All right. Just posting a lot of content, volumes of content is not going to be helpful because Google will recognize that you're trying to game the algorithm. Okay. And it doesn't like that. And they have this funny thing called,
is that what
they have this fun thing called a Google slap, right? So when, if I can explain it to you, it's Google's very funny. It's very funny. So like they don't want you trying to get to the top. If they notice that you're actively trying, it's called a black hat, tactic. Like if you're, buying links and doing other things that you shouldn't be doing, all right, that doesn't look natural, Google will actually take your website off. And I've had this happen to me. Absolute nightmare. Absolute. And again,
they'll
this is
take your website down.
I could not be found on Google anywhere for 2 years for something that we did. Yes. And I'll explain it to you. So I'll tell you. It cost me, it killed us.
Kidding. I don't know the story.
So our business in 2008, all right, we were doing 6.5 million a year at that time.
Yeah.
We used a company that we shouldn't have. It was a foreign company that promised me an unrealistic thing. And what they were doing is they were taking articles, other people's articles, spinning them. So before like AI, spinning them. So just changing words around inside them. All right. And then putting my links in it and posting them. So Google came out with an update, and the update was, we don't want people doing this because it's telling the algorithm you have all this credibility you don't. And I was so like new to it. I was looking at the end result being that I'm going to get to number 1 in all these keyword search terms. So the more keyword search terms you come up with, like, I mean, for at the time it was like roofing new market, I was top of the search there. But by doing that, it was a black hat. It was buying your way to that place. Now, you still have to buy your way there, but you can't do those things because Google can come out and say, you know what? we're not going to allow this anymore. And they don't care that, like, and for 2 years, I was banned from
Wow.
Google. I could not show up on Google at
How?
all. I
That's
never existed.
crazy.
Yeah. And it was the most painful experience that because and this is why I warn everybody,
Wow.
don't ever put all your eggs in one basket, because at the time,
Yeah.
SEO was like, we were organically coming up and I was getting thousands of
Oh
calls
my
and
God,
it
dude,
was a
that's
good time. Right.
crazy.
And literally from that point on, now I've realized that it has to be a balance of marketing strategies, and healthy companies don't put any more
Wow.
than 20% of their lead flow coming from one source, because
Yeah.
here's the thing,
Wow.
companies get caught up. And again, I'm not there. I also should say this with a caveat. You need to focus on, a part of the internet that's going to generate you leads. So if you're going to do, organic content, for example, if you're going to post, informational stuff to YouTube and stuff, that's all good. That's fine. All right.
Right.
But when you start to play the game, and start to go beyond what the rules are for it, all right. So you're taking it, like, at that time, I'm taking it from basically a mom and pop thing to something, a national corporation. All of a sudden they would be producing that much content. So it's not natural. It doesn't look natural to
Right.
the algorithms. They don't like it. I got slapped. It was very, very painful, but a very valuable lesson, because I got to learn a lot about
Huh.
SEO and why it was so important for me not to just consider one form of marketing. So I call my marketing strategies now, we call them stack marketing. All right. So
Okay.
a stack marketing approach is, I'm going to run my PPC. I'm going to invest a little bit into SEO every month, consistently doing the things that we know that work. All right. The things that don't take a ton of our time, the things that also can be repurposed from other platforms. So like Facebook, Instagram, like we make content there already. So I take that content and I repurpose it for Google to feed that algorithm. And again, I'm putting little pieces everywhere consistently and telling the true story. I'm not trying to, again, appear as if I'm a national, company with my
Right.
content creation when I'm just a small one. So the best way to explain it again with SEO, we have to do a couple of things consistently. Now, for the guys that are out there right now that are like so lost and don't know what to do next, I'm going to give you, at the end of this call, I'm going to give you
Yeah.
like a few very easy tips, okay, that will get you started on this journey. Okay. But again, we're going to recognize that if we're going to do these things for the next, 12 months, consistently, like week in, week out, you will get results. You will end up at the top of your searches. And it's going to be very profitable for you. All right. In the meantime, though, it's also a good opportunity for you to continue to contribute content to many platforms, right? You want to spread the content. The key to this is taking what's good quality, content about your business and about your offers and about, information you have to share, and distributing it across the platforms evenly. All right. And if that
So
makes
are you
sense.
saying, Jay, well, let me ask you to pause there. So are you
Yeah.
saying that, excuse me, are you saying that, so if I post something on TikTok, Facebook, if I have an Instagram account,
Mhm.
I'm a HVAC or plumber or mason, and I'm posting my jobs and things like that. Are you saying Google also like knows that, or they read that?
Okay. So good question. That's a very good question. So technically, all of those are search platforms themselves. So there
Okay.
is a little bit, but not much. Again, like you can post a million things. It says like it's not going to really help you that much on Google, because Google will value what's relevant to their platform. So
Okay.
again, you want to use Google, Google tools or Google, blogs and stuff like that to really, think about SEO for Google. Now, again, they're all competing, and you'll notice they generally have, similar things. So Google also owns YouTube. That's a good place to get SEO. If you're thinking about SEO and using it, it's a good place for it. They do take some social credit. So like if they do index like Facebook, Instagram, like TikToks, but they don't hold as much weight as other more traditional things there. So things again like backlinks. Backlinks are your core. All right. Google looks at that and goes, is this person trustworthy or not? How many other people put their hand out for this site? Right.
Okay.
And
So,
then, yeah,
well, I was going to ask you. So, I mean, again, going back like in time for me, like, so if I, if I wanted to, because I was, one of the things we were working on together was, you know, finding other lead sources outside of, obviously our
hmm
network, but then also like outside of like direct mail, which we did a lot of. In fact,
hmm
that was really that was our primary way of getting leads, or getting cold leads, I should say. Um, and so, how would I have used, like, gone in and used something like how would I have optimized the website, and
yeah,
and like and how do I think here's a real question, Jay. Like, how would I, because I mean, I feel like I have a lot of patience, and I'm willing to like play the
do the
long
work.
game, but it's hard,
It,
and
it is
you want to get
right.
a quick win. So, I mean, a year, I hear you. I mean, again, I'm a long game guy, and I'm like, a year, buddy, that's
Yeah,
okay.
no, it's it, but
Like,
again, like
that feels like a
what
lot,
I'm,
you know?
it's the forbidden fruit though, right? It's again, if everybody just think about it from Google's perspective. Like if everyone were to even drop buying ads 20% today because there was an easy way to come up organically, Google would
Right.
be out of business.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That's the
Yeah. It's
reality.
four. It's at least 40% of
Right.
they're toast.
So
Yeah.
why would they make it so easy? Like, and again, this
Right.
goes like there's companies out there that are national corporations that can't come up on the first page of Google. Like, again, for guys that have done this
Crazy.
stuff for a long time, it's not because we're not supposed to be, right?
Right.
Again, you are. It's like going in the back of somebody's operation, all right, and setting up another business in there, making the same product they are, right?
Right.
So again, like when I say 12 months, I mean that sincerely. Like that is how
Yeah.
long it would take, even using SEO. So people that are trained doing other additional things, like really pushing the envelope. I mean, again, there's claims out there for all types of things. Like just go into it expecting 12 months. 12 months goes by very quickly. And if you have somebody else that are covering these basics, and you're doing these basics, you're going to get results, but you don't get results quickly. And that's why guys don't invest in it. And that's why, again, it's very difficult to see results, because we always want quick results, right? And do you think Google is stupid about that either? Like,
No.
what's waiting there right there for people to take if they want quick results? Well, pay Google then, right? So you're stuck with the situation, but there's a better way to look at this. A way
Okay.
better way to look at this. Okay.
Okay. I'm listening.
Instead of going in with the intent, I know it's more of a mindset thing, right? Because it does. Like if my intent is to generate leads quickly, all right, don't look at it. Just stay away from SEO, right? Simple as that. It's not going to work for you. You're going to be
Okay.
disappointed. I guarantee it. Now, if your intent is to provide value to a lower part or to a higher part in your funnel, okay, and you're in this for the long term, long game, and you want authority with buyers that appreciate value, all right, then
Right.
you need to really think about this, not in terms of getting to the top of Google. Take that out of your mind and think of creative ways to really, again, educate your customers, educate your consumers. If you were to take that approach, all right, and say, hey, you know what? There's this real problem in my market, all right? And I'll give you an example from roofing is, people don't really understand that, a shingle roof doesn't give you a return on your investment. A metal roof does. Like I'm going to explain
Okay.
that to my customers through blogs and through information, and I'm going to see if anyone else agrees with me, right? Like I'm going
Right.
to engage in comments the same way you would on a social platform, but you're going to use Google to do it. Okay? That's a very very easy thing to maintain because you start with the right intent. And the intent is
Yeah.
to educate your customer. Okay? If you're doing that and you're doing it honestly, you don't have anything to worry about, and you will start to rank. People, like, your content will start to get picked up and it'll get searched and you'll start to, grow. And now, depending on what you want for your business, and I think a lot of companies miss this opportunity in that they make everything salesy, they make it about them. They like it's marketing. And I get that, right? I've been there. Like, I need leads now.
Right.
Okay. But for those of you that are playing the cards and plan to be around a long time, you are absolutely out of your mind not to make this contribution here, because it's no more real work than it would be to post socially and start to build your authority. So again, And there's not one single company, now listen to me on this, that I've found in any market that I've researched, so guys that are 8 to 10 million plus, that haven't heavily invested here. All right, because the ROIs become astronomical. Okay, I'll give you a very good example. Coming up on one keyword search, so in our area, it was roofing new market. Okay, it
Okay.
had 5,000 searches a month. Okay, if I
Wow.
wanted to buy the PPC for that, so like to be the top search in PPC, all right, it would have probably cost me $25,000 a month. Right, so
A month,
a month,
25,000 a
easy. Well,
month.
again, in those, that could be even higher for one keyword search
Whew.
because you're paying $20 a click. Do the math.
So, so like, so when you go, so when I'm in Google and those names that come up at the top,
Mhm.
they're paying that, they're paying that,
Oh yeah. So in competitive keywords, like roofing's highly competitive. All right.
right?
So
Right.
highly competitive. There are keywords in my that we still buy into, okay, that are
Yeah.
18 to $20 a click. A click.
Wow.
What, like not a
So,
lead,
so
a
someone,
click.
yeah. Wow.
So we're acquiring leads for $200 to $300 because they're very motivated buyers. You're like,
Right.
again, this is the intent. When you go to Google and you search, I'm looking for a roofing contractor, and you come up, the people that have done that search, and still 93% of all home purchases start in Google. Okay.
Wow.
So they are a monster when it comes to this. They have the market completely cornered. So when you stand back and look at it that way, all right, that work that you did for over a year, all right, literally is worth an entire wage per month, like an entire person's yearly wage in a month
Yeah.
in marketing. And at that point, you are untouchable in terms of profitability and everything else. It's we call it free leads, but it's not. It's consistency. Now,
Yeah.
here's the other thing to think about is once Google likes you and it praises you and says that, good boy, and like gets you to the top,
Good
it's
boy.
generally, in general, it's fairly loyal to that. So I have some keyword searches that after my slap was over and my punishment was done, they said, are you ready to play again, and let me back into the playpen.
Yeah.
And since then I've been very careful not to, you know, not to offend them in any sort of way, right? And for that I've been rewarded. So like once I've got my again, the big part is, sort of the initial stuff, what do I do on a weekly basis, what do we do on a monthly basis, what do we do, like once I got that sort of done, it's just maintenance. Okay, I'm not having to reinvent the wheel where, again, it's not a lot that goes into it. But again, that accounts, like I would not be here where I am right now had I not got this right. Right.
Mm,
Because the
wow.
bottom line is
Big
it's
statement, Joe.
still, like I've been saying to you guys all along, it's cost per acquired customer. When you get to a certain point in your business where operations is no longer you're not concerned about your operations anymore. All
Right.
right. And again, this is for companies that are at scale or scaling. Um, the cost per acquired customer is what drives the profitability of the business. So again, if you can imagine, when I take the whole picture, of how many leads we need to generate, and I break that down versus how much money I'm going to collect for that, okay, it becomes very easy to understand is that I'm not paying a huge cost per acquired customer anymore after many like years of doing this. Okay. And being involved, my cost per acquired customers at the level it is because I still take in 100 or 200 leads organically every month, right? So
Wow.
was it worth it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But again, it's not an easy road. It's something you need to have patience, and you need to be involved as an owner. Again, I know it's sort of gray area, but if you're not educated, how can you give direction? And more importantly, how can you say no to things that were going to hurt you? All right. So again,
Right.
we get caught up a lot of times with fast results, and anybody offering you fast results in SEO, run the other way. Never look back, because you are going to get gassed. All right. And that's what's I can't express to you more. Now, again, there's different areas, different practices. It's a beast. Okay. Um, you, you know, I think we were chatting a few minutes ago about Google has never, ever, and will never have a course on SEO. They will never teach you SEO,
That's right. We were talking about
right?
that.
And people are like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Try and find a Google sponsored course on SEO." Now, if I open my email box right now of my spammy email that I give to, every offer that I can find, all right, my fake email, in
Right.
that email, in the top, probably within the first searches, I'm gonna see guys offering me SEO in 30 days. I'm gonna see
Right.
guys top of Google search or like all this other bullshit. Okay.
Right.
And what you have to realize is that it's a risk to your entire business. Because imagine this: forget buying ads now. Okay. You can't buy ads if you've been blacklisted or you've been taken out of, like, you do not exist on the internet. Think
Yeah,
about
I
that.
can't even imagine.
But it happens all the time because the guys don't respect or appreciate it. And Google doesn't care. Like, to them, you're nobody and you will be nobody. When you've offended them or you've broken their rules, right? And a lot of these agencies, the only way to do it is to break rules. And that's an immediate risk. So no matter how high you get, like, yeah, you might get to that top of the search, but when they find out, you're going to be banished. And it takes, like, I mean, again, and Google makes it very difficult to even figure out what's going on. Like,
Right.
again, the shock that, like, I don't want to tell you the trauma that I lived through, just, day in and day out going, how did I screw this up? Right. So don't be that guy. Don't make that
Yeah.
mistake. Listen to what I'm saying. Be, again, use patience. It's something that you can hire good companies to do. Good companies aren't cheap. All right. I think the lowest you're going to find, on a budgetary way is about $1,500 a month. If you want someone else to do it, you're going to look into those credentials, make sure they're using nothing but, like, clean SEO tactics and rules. And, like, again, here you got to practice a lot of caution, or forget it. Don't bother with it. Don't, like, if you're not prepared to wait and you need leads now, PPC, just buy your leads. Okay. Build your business around, a basket of those and a basket of other things, right? Maybe you're doing direct mail. Maybe you're doing these other things. Okay. Unless you're willing to commit either your time or your money. All right. There is no cheap way. All right. And there's no fast way to get to the top of the thing. And by the way, the last point, I swear,
Yeah.
if you do get there, all right, and
Yeah.
you do have success in this area, which is still very possible. All right. When you do get there, make sure that you're consistently, like, make sure you're consistently working on it. Make sure that you're keeping up to date. Make sure that you've got a pulse on what's happening. Don't just leave it to an agency to indefinitely, because 90% of them, I'm going to tell you right now, will just take your money and do nothing for you. Okay. There are ways that you can check. And now SEO in general is very, very hard to measure. That's the other, this is where it opens it up for a lot of scammers. It's very hard to measure the success of SEO because Google doesn't tell you. There's no,
Right.
they don't want you to know. Like, there are some metrics here and there to see you're coming up with searches and stuff like that. But overall, it's like, like, SEO companies will give you these complex reports that, like, show all this great work, and it means nothing. Okay, because if you're on the fourth page and you move from the 100th page to the fourth page, and you could be there for years. They don't
Right.
there is no reward system here. Like, this is the desert that you're taking a journey across to, hopefully get to the Garden of Eden, right? So
So what are these guys selling, Jay? I mean, because again,
there's moon
it's like
dust. That's when you give them your money and it turns into moon dust. That's in most of them. Again, like, I can't say all of them are scammers. I can't say all of them, but
right.
the majority of them out there that are giving you promises that are just unrealistic, right? Like, if somebody, like I said, because I've bitten on this, this play years and years ago, even, and felt the pain of it, it's forced me to really educate myself. And I've done a ton, like, as you can probably tell, I've got a lot invested in, I've spent a
Yeah.
lot of time educating myself on, a marketer's level understanding of SEO. And, even where I was sitting right now with years of, actively investing and, putting my mind into it, I could still not have a career in this business because I couldn't promise somebody something I know I can't deliver, right? And the same way, if someone else is coming out, there's no, like, nobody has secret keys to the back room. Like it's just, I will listen to somebody that'll say, hey, you know what? I'm thinking maybe these two keywords I could get in 12 months. All right. I'm going to charge you about $1,500. I'd be like, I would be open to that. I would listen to a little bit more and I would ask them some more questions about what exactly they would be doing. But I would never in my life ever fall for, even if the company looks legit and they've got great reviews, all that stuff can be manufactured. Okay. And these companies pop up, and I'm just, again, warning, warning, warning. Anybody that tells you that they can do it in a set time is lying. Okay. Google does not give you a calendar of how long it's going to take. Right. So what ends up happening is again, you're paying, and you're just not getting results. And there's no way of telling if they ever did anything, and they can hurt you more. They can help you if they don't know your market. So again, somebody that hasn't worked specifically with contractors, there's nuances, even specific niches of contractors. I wouldn't trust an SEO that's a general SEO, because the backlinks and everything else you'd have to be connected with, and like the research time they would have to have is astronomical. Right. So again, yeah.
So what is, all right. So then what do I do? I mean, what do we, what's the shot?
You can do these three things. Okay. So Google has a Google business. If you don't have your Google business page, okay, start there. We're going to start with a Google business page. Okay. All right. We're going to make sure that we are listed in Google Maps. All right. Very important. So your business shows up on Maps. All right. Now, Google, I want you to complete your entire Google business page, right? The whole thing, put in your keywords, put in everything else. That's where it starts. And then you're going to have a link to your website. All right. We're not even going to get into optimizing your website, none of that stuff, because that's advanced. All right. And we're going to post 3 to 5 photos like you would to Facebook to Google every week. Okay. Every week. Every week. So again, 3 to 5 new photos of the work that you're doing, stories that you can tell. Like, this is what you'll need to do at a minimum. Okay. Yeah. The other one is you're going to make a post every 5 to 7 days. Okay. Or an update. They call them updates. Okay. You're going to update Google on something relevant. All right. Now, the most important one of all of this, we're going to get a minimum of 1 positive review. All right. And we're going to respond within 24 hours every month. Okay. So guys that don't respond to the reviews, you are getting slapped by Google every time. They see that as this business isn't real. They want you to be engaged. Yeah. And other people posting is like a backlink. Like, it's a super powerful way for Google to know. And they're very tight. Like, they're very specific. Like, anyone that's got a bad Google reviews knows they can't be deleted. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it takes a long time to kind of get that off of your record. So you got to protect that at all costs. Now, I know contractors, okay, that have been around 2 years that we coach, that they focused entirely on positive reviews from every single job. That was like their thing. 5 stars, doing the post, doing exactly what I've said. They are the number 1 in Google's Maps sitting here right now. 2-year-old company, 2-year-old thing with no URL. They're number 1
I didn't know that.
in a local area, in a local city area. Okay. And they survive entirely off of those leads, and they're growing like crazy. And it makes me proud because he kept it basic. This is a dude. Okay. He has a piss poor website at best. It's not optimized. Okay. He's not buying ads. He's just did exactly what I said. Those 3 things, he did them exactly how I said he was going to do
them again. Sure. Say again. Yeah.
So you're going to post 3 to 5 photos every week. Okay. You're going to make a post every 5 to 7 days, roughly. Okay. So 1 a week. All right. And these posts can be updates now. And you're going to get at least 1 positive Google review every month, and you're going to respond to that review within 24 hours. You're also going to respond to any negative ones you get very quickly. Okay. It's a time game. All right. Okay. Now, if you wanted to do a little bit more above that, okay, Google has a platform for blogs. Okay. Your website, if you're using, your website is half decent and it's been built properly, you should have an option in there to create blogs. All right. And you're going to create a blog once a month. You're going to write an article. And you can use AI for this, but again, you're going to have to use other tools to make sure that it's not AI content. The other thing I got to stress, do not post 100% ChatGPT content into the Google algorithm. Google knows that it's AI, and you will get nothing for that.
Yeah,
it has to be genuine. And when I say post, it can be just an update. It can be just, hey, we're working at this address, blah, blah, blah. Or, again, there's a whole bunch of, ways to go about it, but make it authentic. Don't cheat. If you're going to cheat and use Google or ChatGPT, again, you're going to have to, kind of cover that one up. There's tools out there to make your writing more authentic. They don't mind if you're using AI to help write, but it can't plagiarize. Okay. Right. So, and again, we're going to see some big changes coming about. They're kind of letting everything go freely right now, but you mark my words, there will be an update with Google. And if all of your content is AI, you will get a slap. All right. Just like I did, because it's the same thing as spinning articles back in the day, except for AIs writing them. They don't want you posting unauthentic content. Right. So don't do that. Don't go down that lane. You guys everyone here is more than capable of writing, 3 to 4 sentences every week, right? Giving your audience an update. Don't get lazy about it. Just do it that way. You're going to get results. You're going to see them probably quicker than what I said, but again, plan the long game. It's a long time of talking to, it feels like no one. And then all of a sudden your audience starts to form around you and you start to generate leads.
So, and again, I'm going to ask you again, Jay, because I mean, I didn't know any of that. I mean, so you go to you can post to your Google page.
Yep. On your business manager. Yep. In Google, it gives you an option. Okay. So and again, you would just log in through your Google apps, and you go to your business page. That's where you need to be optimizing. And yes, Google allows you to post, allows you to, it's like every other search platform. It's trying to become, all of them are trying to become, a social platform. So Google, seeing what Facebook was doing, and added that element to it. But yeah, that's and they reward you for it. They reward you for being local and being relevant. And again, once you start to do these things, Google really appreciates that, right?
Yeah.
Because you're contributing content, and it recognizes that. And again, it's a good way to get in the favorable books. Now, I can't promise it'll get you to number 1. Either way, though, if somebody's searching your company, all right, and they've got that information there, and remember, 93% of searches, and you're active and you're posting photos, and this is in your benefit anyways. All right.
Yeah.
So again, that's my suggestions. One of the things that we have here at Contractor AI, we can help you develop a really robust, review system as well as a referral system. They should go hand in hand. If you're interested in that, reach out to us. We have, I use it in my business. I use it in about 25 other businesses. It works. It's super powerful for getting a review and a referral at the same time. All right. And keeping your clients in the loop in the digital age. If you want a really clean, done for you system, reach out to us. We will implement that into your business. And again, it's relatively low cost versus ROI. ROI is out of this world for that system. So just reach out to us.
Wow. That is crazy. And you can do a blog on Google too.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, you don't even need
right on Google.
Yeah,
you can post it right to Google. You don't have to go to a third party or to have your own website or anything.
That's right. Yeah, right through Google. Google has all of those kind of apps and tools. I mean, again, it's the most again, if I'm going to create or if I'm going to use any tools, if I'm going to work anywhere, if I were to start all over again, I would be focused on Google, because again, it's the intent that a buyer comes to Google for, right? Yeah. If you think about Facebook, Instagram, all of them, you're dealing lower in the decision tree, right? So people that go to Facebook aren't really looking for contractors. No one's searching for contractors in Facebook that often. Now they'll see you in Google and they will search you in Facebook. All right. But usually it's not the other way around. Okay. Right. So if you pop up, you've disrupted somebody, and really anybody that's taken a lot of leads knows that, Facebook and all these they're lower quality leads. Of course, you can still sell them. Of course, people still live off them. There's places you can go to generate more higher intent leads on Facebook, like Facebook communities and stuff like that, which we talk a
Right.
lot about. There's new, caveats to that, but in general, just putting up content in your Facebook page and stuff like that, it's not going to attract a ton of really, highly engaged buyers. It's going to generally bring you, if you're not really optimized, you're not really known, it's going to bring you a lot of price shoppers and a lot of people that are curious to know more. And I mean,
Right.
probably a lot of spammers, like there's plenty of those. So again, just pick your strategy wisely, right? Again, if I were to go back knowing what I know now, and I had, the next 20 years to look at, I'm for sure, I would do it even better in terms of, making sure that my SEO is optimized. And, we have a lot to be grateful for from being optimized there. And again, it doesn't take a lot of work anymore, right? It's a part of just our weekly routine, and that's it.
So, let me ask you. So if we're helping somebody, Contractor AI,
Mhm.
how long does it take to do that? I mean, how long?
Yeah, so I wouldn't, just so we're clear, we wouldn't help, we wouldn't do it for you. So like SEO is, we would get you in touch with a real SEO, like somebody that serves agencies.
Someone
So
that's
we'll
not
give
going
you
to
some
screw you.
contacts. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we got to pick our, I'd have to be true to my word here too. Like SEO is such a complicated, hard, it's the hardest game to play on the internet, right?
Right.
It's the
Is that
mystery
right?
box. Yeah, oh,
Oh,
absolutely. Because
wow.
again, they don't want you knowing. If you knew,
Right.
like this is what they're trying to prevent. They are working against you from doing that. Because if you get to that top, all right, what is it like? Either way, they're losing. Right
Right.
now, you're not buying as many ads. So is it in their best interest? No. We might see it go away one day. Who knows, right? Like, for them, that's not. They don't make. They would lose their shirt if everyone knew, or if they, we could get any company there. Like,
Right.
they would be out of business, right? So the other thing too is, in terms of doing this on your own and or doing this with us, we provide a ton of, these valuable things, but real gameplays, right? Like, again, you come and discuss it with us. We want to set you up on the right track, send you to the right people. This is where it becomes very economical. Again, I use that budgetary number. That is producing a whopping like 300, 400 R like ROAS, so return on investment for me.
Wow.
It's by far my most like, it is the asset my company owns. Okay. So that's the
Yours. That's what you pay Google.
no. So for my SEO work, if I added up all the money I've spent
Oh, I'm sorry.
in
Gotcha.
in
Gotcha. Gotcha.
SEO, now God
Yeah.
help me if I ever looked at my time. Okay. It's like, yeah, it's like a three
Right.
on paper, it's like a 300, ROAS, right? So that's
3 to 1.
return on
Yeah.
ad
Yeah.
like
Yep.
spend, roughly, right? So again, is it worth it? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it something you need to personally invest yourself into? Yes. Okay.
Right.
Can you find good people that'll help you with this? Yes. All right. But again, this is where we at Contractor AI can help you make these game plans, get this
Right.
structured so that you're not falling into the pit holes and again, slaps and stuff that I've gone through, because it's a
Yeah.
landmine, right?
Yeah.
It's
Jeez.
it is really the Everest of marketing, and I don't say that lightly. For contractors, again, getting to the top is the greatest, most glorious moment, but it's a long
Right.
climb.
Right.
So again, you got to prepare for that. You have to have patience. You have to be willing to, adjust and do what you've got to do for it. And we're happy to guide you on that. I won't do it for you because that climb's for you. You got to earn that. But I will make sure, like, just like a good Sherpa, we'll follow you all the way up.
Okay, so some really valuable stuff here. So again, I just want to repeat. So you're saying people should be posting photos and
Mhm.
like to their Google business page.
Yep.
I think that's, I mean,
Easy.
again, I mean, all the things you don't know, right?
Right.
Um, so, all right. So I think it's invaluable. And so for, if anybody wants to, again, dig into something like this a little more, want to, tap into Jay's big brain, and, you have questions about search engine optimization, SEO, or, you're thinking about running social media ads, or your marketing game sucks and you need some help, whatever it is, or you want to get off, like I was trying to get off of like just mailers and trying to get something else that was going to generate leads. Um, every Thursday at 3 o'clock, Jay's doing free training, essentially,
Mhm.
teach-ins training. So just, comment on the live, send Jay a DM,
Email.
and
If
yeah,
you're
email,
watching this in the
whatever.
replay.
Yeah, just, whatever, however way you want, comment, DM, and, one of our team will reach out and get you into the training. And again, if you're like, well, I don't really give a shit about SEO right now, fine. If you're struggling with your marketing, again, I was, um, and just need some help, because again, my biggest frustration, um, I had figured out who I needed to be marketing to, but I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what to, how to reach that person. And that's a big part of it.
Mhm.
If you've got questions about marketing or about any of this stuff, just show up, and, ask the questions. We're here to help. And, we've got a lot of really, really, really fucking effective solutions for stuff like this. So, anyway, so Thursdays at 3, Jay does free training. We're here every Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern. And then I go live every Monday at noon, sharing the things that the plays that I ran to take a masonry contractor from basically $1 million in sales to about $5 million in just a couple of years. And just kind of bringing the best stuff we have so that we can help contractors, help you, stabilize your business, stabilize your sales, stabilize, get a better marketing scheme, get a better way to hire people. That's a huge one. Anyway, so check us out. Check me out on Monday at noon. We're here every Friday at 3, and Jay's doing free training on Thursdays at 3 o'clock Eastern. And we'll see you next week.
All right, guys. Bye.